Welcome to NGM, covering the facts and truth regarding democracy and human rights. I'm Z. Today, we have a special discussion about state-sponsored terrorism in Myanmar. We have our new Gen team members, Kainimpru, Chocho, and Sansan. I will let our new Gen discussion team members introduce themselves to you all. Ms. Kainimpru, Chocho, and Sansan?
Hello everyone, I'm Shosho. It's an honor to be here as a new member of New Gen team. Thank you.
Hi, Altalizava. I'm Sensen, and I'm third year student at University of Iowa, and I'm studying recreational therapist, and I'm really glad to be at New Gen team.
Salizaba, I'm Kainonfu. I'm a senior in Samuel Wilson High School, and I'm happy to join the New Gen media team.
Thank you all for participating in this important discussion on state-sponsored terrorism in Myanmar. We will talk about what terrorism is as we understand in the United States and as the international community. Then we will discuss what is going on in Arakan State in Myanmar, as the Myanmar government and Myanmar military is targeting civilians and committing widespread atrocities against Arakanese people and other non-Burmese nationalities in Burma. Since December of 2018, the Myanmar military has been deliberately targeting civilians in Arakan State. The soldiers from Myanmar Army are shooting and killing innocent civilians, shelling and bombing villages, and burning thousands of homes as we speak. So far, 300 civilians have been killed by the Myanmar military, and the number of internally displaced peoples, or IDPs, has nearly reached 200,000. Putting this information aside for now, I would like to ask, starting with Sansan, what does the word terrorism mean to you, and what defines a terrorist?
For me, terrorism will be like unlawful use of violence toward innocent people, and not just their home, but not just them, but their home, their property, and mostly because of political aim.
How about Chocho?
I do agree with Sansan, and I would define terrorism as an unlawful use and is intentional to the civilians causing harm. It can be like against politics or religious purposes, and it can be done by an organization or just by an individual.
I see. And Kainimpru, what does terrorism mean to you?
The word terrorism to me means the act of using violence and propaganda to aim to have a political standpoint.
Those are all very good definitions, I do think. Now, are the killings and atrocities being committed by the Myanmar military in Arakan a form of terrorism to any of you?
I would definitely say it's a form of terrorism, because number of IDPs are increasing in Arakan State, and there's no help from Myanmar military, because they're the one who has been bombing and shelling all those villages and killing civilians. Killing and atrocity against civilians are a form of human rights violation, and then the Myanmar military, instead of helping and protecting those civilians, they're the one who is causing more harm and aware of terrorism.
Yes, I also agree with Ms. Shosho. I would also say it is a terrorism act because it is between Myanmar military and Arakan army. So, I would say there's nothing to do with the civilians. And instead of harming them, I believe they should be protecting them because they're still under the Myanmar government.
The Myanmar government, yes, because the act of terrorism does apply to every form of government occupation, as the Myanmar government has killed innocent Arakan and other ethnicities, burned down villages and property, tortured, and unlawful act of suspicion. These are all forms of terrorism under its law.
Yes, I agree. Even if you are the government of a country, you can still be a terrorist. I would also like to mention that these killings and atrocities against civilians are, I'm sorry, did you mention the International Criminal Court?
Yeah, I did. I didn't. Should I say it?
Go for it.
So it was suspicions are all from the terrorism. As you know, Myanmar was accused of genocide in the International Criminal Court because of the attack and bombing which was happening in a certain village. This was because Aung San Suu Kyi defended it, and although they defended it, this is a form of terrorism in a way, because it attacked innocent lives, it killed, and it had damage into property itself.
Yes, I see. Now, I want to mention Myanmar has officially labeled the Arakan Army as a terrorist organization itself as of March 24th of 2020. The declaration came after more than a year of bitter fighting between government forces and the guerrilla group. The notice issued by Myanmar government says that the Arakan Army and an affiliated organization, the United League of Arakan, have, and I quote, caused serious losses of public security, lives and property, important infrastructures of the public and private sector, state-owned buildings, vehicles, equipment, and materials, and I unquote. What do you think of this declaration by the Myanmar government, and what are the intentions behind it? May we start with Joshua?
Sure. I will say the declaration is totally absurd because the details in those declarations are something that Myanmar military has been doing and which are concerns for civilians. And then even during the COVID-19 pandemic, civilians were not able to get help because Myanmar military, they shot down the vehicle carrying COVID-19 test and killed a driver. It's not something that a responsible government will do, and that they're proving it by their actions. And then I think that the intention behind this declaration is just to blame Arakan Army for all the messes that Myanmar military has done. It's not Arakan Army who is a terrorist, but the Myanmar military is, based on all the facts that we just talked about and all the information that people have already known. And I think that's why we must make sure that international community knows who the true wolf in the sheep's clothing is, and the fight for the minority ethnics in Myanmar to get their constitutional rights.
Yes, I agree. I do think the international community also needs to understand all of what you said and take action immediately. We must make the international community informed about the truth, and especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, they don't have time to worry about the virus as of now. How about Kainem Drew?
Oh, the declaration wants to frame the Arakanese army for the wrongdoing of their own actions. In a way, they said that they damaged vehicles and property, when in general they bombed the Arakanese borderline, which is basically their selves. So I think they're kind of framed Arakanese army, and those are also intentions, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with all of you guys, and also just like to share one of my uncle's story, because he had the COVID-19, and then he was in the village, and then he was sent away to like one of the schools to like prevent from spreading, and then because of the bombing the COVID-19 truck and killing the driver, he haven't received any medicine or medical stuff, and yeah, like, and also like the Myanmar military is like the one like shelling and bombing like towns and destroying the village in Arkansas, and you know, it's actually like the other way around. And I'll also say Myanmar government, it's also guilty for shutting down to the internet service since June 2019 as well. And also Myanmar government has like abandoned 200,000 of refugees due to its military actions. So like I really hope international organization can see the truth, and then also just like Z say, like take action as soon as possible.
Yes, I understand. And I am glad you mentioned that they had also cut off not only the internet, but you have a personal story that you shared about a family member who could not receive aid because it was blocked by the Myanmar government. And so, continuing this statement and this conflict, the Arakan Army, has a declaration, and they say that the Myanmar government's declaration indicates that the Myanmar colonial rulers do not have a policy to solve political problems with other non-Burmese by equitable and peaceful means, but instead indicates the intention for a solution by force. Now, Burmese people make up the largest ethnic group in Myanmar and dominate the government and military. So I do think another solution that we could have is by putting other ethnicities in the government and having personal stories shared more often. All three of you would like to add to this discussion?
When you said that for the Burmese army, right, they should put more political, like, ethnicity different into the government. I don't think that will happen because the minority of the Burmese military itself is all Burmese people. And the ones that do have ethnicity are either controlled by money or controlled by fear. So whatever they have their own opinion, I don't think it will come out because of the oppressing, the surrounding itself. I don't think it will help to have a different, it would help, to have a different ethnicity to be in the Burmese government, but I don't think it will have much effect.
Yes, I do think it is a far-fetched dream myself, as with all of the events that are happening currently within other parts of Burma, it's a dream that may not be fulfilled at all in recent times. But anyway, I thank you all, Dujen team members, for discussing what terrorism means to all of us. And we will have more discussions like this in the future. But in the meantime, I hope that the audience as well can take this discussion and consider what terrorism is themselves. Now, this is NGM. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.